দর্শক শুভেচ্ছা, স্বাগত সবাইকে আজকের চলতে চলতে অনুষ্ঠানে আপনাদের সঙ্গে থাকছে আমি মাহফুজ মিশর। আজকে আমার অতিথি জাতিসংঘের আন্ডার সেক্রেটারি ফকিতা ময়লা উতাই কামানো। Fokita, most welcome to our show Chalte Chalte. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Most welcome to Bangladesh.
Yes.
You are working for United Nations. You are High Representative as well as you are the Under Secretary General of LDCs. And Bangladesh is a growing up country. Bangladesh have separate goals, separate economic goals. My first question would be, how do you evaluate the relations between United Nations and Bangladesh?
Well, Bangladesh is an important member of the United Nations. It has been chairing the group of the least developed countries, so which comprises 47 countries that are in the LDC category, and so it's a leadership role that Bangladesh plays in that group to also raise its own issues as well as to support the aspirations of the other 46 countries. And my office looks after the most vulnerable groups of countries, the membership of the UN, which is 91 countries, and they are grouped into three main groups: the least developed, so there's 47, and the landlocked developing countries is 32 countries, and then the small island developing states, and there's 38 countries. All three groups with a population of over 1 billion people, and these are the most vulnerable groups of countries in the UN membership.
The growth rate of Bangladesh is very much optimistic. Bangladesh GDP is more than 7% from last almost one decade. So how do you evaluate the economy of Bangladesh? Where do you stand right now? What's your evaluation?
So the least developed country status is evaluated using three main criteria. Well, the first one is the GDP per capita, and the second one is on its human development index, on how it's doing in terms of education as well as health. And then the third indicator is on the economic vulnerability of the country. So in order for a country to graduate out of the least developed country status, it has to meet at least two of the three criteria at two successive reviews. So the reviews are done every 3 years. So every 3 years there's a review is done on the countries to see how they're doing with their economic development, the GDP per capita, how they're doing with their human development index, and as well as economic vulnerability. And once a country passes the threshold twice, then its development efforts has classed it as a developing country, so it shifts from the poorest category to a developing country category. So in the case of Bangladesh, we are waiting for the assessments which will be undertaken. The results will be shown in March next year. So we will know by March next year whether Bangladesh has met the threshold for the first time.
You know that Bangladesh is a densely populated country. Once upon a time when Bangladesh got its independence in 1971, at that time Bangladesh was told was known as a very poor country, a country of vulnerabilities, country of natural disaster. But now Bangladesh is praised everywhere for its women empowerment, for its economic growth, for its garments product, and for many other things. So what's your personal opinion, not your office opinion, that will be declared on March, you said, regarding our economy?
Well, for the LDC group, there was a target if the LDC group grows by 7% each year, then it will be a platform for them to graduate out of the LDC status. So an indicator that Bangladesh is doing quite well. So that's a very good indicator of how far Bangladesh has come from the early 2000.
Yeah, sometimes Bangladesh was told a bottomless basket.
Yes.
It was told by our friends countries,
Yes.
especially USA. And now they said Bangladesh is a wonder of economy.
Yes.
Several economists, the Nobel laureate economists also said this. So what are the major challenges of
Yeah.
Bangladesh?
Development in the country is determined, of course, by the leadership of the country and their aspirations. So I understand that Bangladesh has gone through, it's now in its 7th five-year development plan. And so, you know, there was a real commitment by the government for the country to develop and to lift it out of its poverty state. And they are very encouraging results with the level of poverty reduced from 40% to 20% as a result of, you know, this growth as well.
You know better than me that not only economic development is sustainable
Yes,
development.
yes.
There are some other issues: health,
Yes.
child mortality,
Yes, yes.
women empowerment, access to electricity, and
Yes,
many
yes.
other criteria to
Yes.
be a middle income country.
Yes.
And Bangladesh government has set it to be a middle income country by 2021.
Yes.
So only 3 years or 4 years left.
Yes.
So do you think it would be possible in the fixed time? I want to hear this answer from you. Before then I want to take a short break.
Yes.
দর্শক, ছোট্ট একটা বিরতি, আমরা কথা বলবো জাতিসংঘের এই সহকারী মহাসচিবের সঙ্গে। আমাদের সঙ্গে থাকছেন নিশ্চয়ই। দর্শক, বিরতির পর স্বাগত আরেকবার। আমরা কথা বলছি জাতিসংঘের সহকারী মহাসচিব ফকিতা উতোয় কামানের সঙ্গে। ফকিতা, I want to know from you before the break that Bangladesh has set a goal to be a middle income country by 2021. So are we in the right track to achieve this goal? What's your evaluation so far?
Yes, I believe that Bangladesh is on the right track, and as I said earlier, the process is it will be evaluated for the first round of whether it meets the criteria next year in March, and then 3 years from next year, which would be 2021, will be the second round of assessments. So we will have a better idea by March next year on where it is exactly, and if it continues in that trajectory, then definitely it will be eligible for graduation in the 2021 and meet the target. Yes.
To be a middle income country.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Then Bangladesh, you know, Bangladesh is facing many kinds of challenge. Once upon a time, poverty was the main challenge.
Yes.
But now I think our government don't say that it's the biggest challenge.
Yes.
But we have some more challenge, the challenge of infrastructure, the
Yes.
challenge of power, gas, fuel, several kind of challenge.
Yes.
What is the major challenge according to your eye for
Yes.
Bangladesh economy
Yes.
as well as Bangladesh government?
Yes. Well, for similar with other LDC countries, the challenge of affordable energy is a real one, and one of the other areas where Bangladesh is also moving forward. It's in the area of broadband and connectivity. It's shifting to a digital Bangladesh, and it has a lot of developments in those areas, which would have impact on a lot of other areas as well. When you have good internet connectivity, you can develop in the area of commerce, in the area of health, in the area of education. And so those are two of the main areas, and there's also being quite an emphasis on science, technology and innovation as well here in Bangladesh, which is also important for transformational change in the country.
You might be agreed with me that good governance is a big thing to be a big power, as well as a big good governance as well as corruption. So do you think these are the challenges for the countries like Bangladesh still?
Yes, I was in UNIDO in Vienna just last week, and we had a LDC meeting there, and the countries were also talking about graduation as well, and they were talking about the challenges facing graduations and what the prerequisites were, and it was raised at that meeting that peace and security is one prerequisite for development, good governance, and all those points that you raised, in addition to the other structural challenges as well.
Bangladesh was supposed to build the largest bridge of Bangladesh. It's called Padma Bridge in association with World Bank, but World Bank withdrawn its support, and now Bangladesh is doing this project by its own financing. How do you evaluate this? Our government said it's a big achievement because we are doing the largest project by our own money.
It is a decision, I guess, that the government has to weigh with the cost and benefits of financing such big projects. And it's also an issue of whether they are able to do so. In many countries, they do not have the means by which they can implement those big projects. But obviously, that option is available for Bangladesh, and they made the decision to fund this project themselves.
At the same time, Bangladesh also is going to build its first nuclear power plant, and Bangladesh is now the member of Nuclear Society. So it's a big prestigious issue, obviously. So do you think it would play a role to be a big economy in this region?
I think that that area might be beyond. I deal with sustainable energy, with supporting renewable energy for these developed countries, and that's the area which my office works in.
The location of Bangladesh is very important. China is very close to us. So how do we can work on this? How do we can get benefit from this strategic location?
Well, I think in terms of markets for exports, trade at bilateral and regional level, there's a lot of potential for that. For example, in the region that I come from, regional integration is quite an important way of supporting each other. And so in a lot of technical areas, in education, in oceans work, in climate change, and other areas, we work to support each other at the regional level. With the landlocked developing countries, they had just established in October this year the first intergovernmental regional think tank to support the 32 countries of the landlocked developing countries. So there are many options to engage at a bilateral level or at a multilateral level, as well as a regional level, to support the economic and as well as social and environmental.
Prakita, I have some more issue to discuss with you. Before then, again, I have to take a break, a short break. দর্শক, আবারও ছোট্ট একটা বিরতি, আমরা কথা বলবো জাতিসংঘের এই সহকারী মহাসচিবের সঙ্গে। আমাদের সঙ্গে থাকতেন নিশ্চয়ই। দর্শক স্বাগত আরেকবার আমরা কথা বলছি জাতিসংঘের আন্ডার সেক্রেটারি ফেকিতা উতই কামানো সঙ্গে ম্যাডাম অ্যাগেন ওয়েলকাম টু মাই শো চলতে চলতে আই জাস্ট ওয়ান্ট টু নো অ্যাবাউট হোয়াটস এর ইভ্যালুয়েশন রিগার্ডিং উইমেন এম্পাওয়ারমেন্ট হিয়ার ইন বাংলাদেশ বিকজ ইউ নো লাস্ট more than 20 years our prime minister is women, our leader of the opposition is women, our foreign minister was women, our speaker of the parliament is women. So is there any country in the world like this?
I think it's a good model for other countries. In the United Nations, of course, the Secretary General has a gender parity policy, which is to encourage the taking up of senior positions in the organization by women, so that you have a 50-50 distribution. The women have a real important part to play in supporting the economic development of any country, and particularly with large population that Bangladesh has. So definitely the women have an important role, and that role has been supported, and success stories in areas that can be replicated in other
Bangladesh
countries.
is a very trusted partner of United Nations from the very beginning of its birth in 1971. And now Bangladesh is playing the most vital role in UN peacekeeping mission also.
That's right.
How do several times the Secretary General of United Nations have praised on this issue? What's your evaluation?
Well, the Bangladesh does provide a substantial number of peacekeepers to help support its mandate in peace and security globally, and so that contribution, of course, is very important. In the countries as well.
We are talking about the challenges of development as well as challenges of economics. You know, recently it's a big challenge for Bangladesh regarding a crisis going on with our neighboring countries, Myanmar, and at least 10 million more than people. And we have to have arranged minimum demand for them, and already Bangladesh government have allocated several thousand crore taka for them. So do you think it would be a big crisis for Bangladesh, big economic crisis for Bangladesh?
I think the UN agencies are supporting, as you noted, particularly UNHCR. But the donor community are also looking at how they might be able to provide support to the country.
But do you think it might be a crisis to handle a big number of people for a country, a density populated country like Bangladesh?
I think that is also one of the areas is internal decision by the government, and can't really comment on
but
that,
we can hope that UN agencies as well as UN would be by the side of Bangladesh to resolve the crisis.
Bangladesh is a member of the UN and can get support of the UN system at its request.
What was the prime object of your this trip in Bangladesh?
So we have the 47 countries who are categorized as least developed country meeting here in Bangladesh today and tomorrow to look at how to prepare themselves for sustainable graduation, because graduation is not about just the numbers. It's about sustainability and being able to continue to develop economically, socially, and environmentally after it has moved from the poorest country category to a middle income. And so we have about 9 countries who are in different levels of the graduation process. They will also have a fair idea of the challenges and the preparatory work that needs to be done for them to ensure a smooth and successful transition.
You will be agreed with me that Bangladesh have done very fantastic in to achieve the MDGs, Millennium
Yes,
Development
yes.
Goal. And now the challenge is Sustainable Development Goal.
Yes.
Are you really hopeful that Bangladesh should meet the SDGs by the fixed time?
Yes. Well, there is certainly a commitment by the government to meet the sustainable development goals, and it's also developing a very good instrument to track the where Bangladesh is with regards to SDG. It's a SDG tracker.
Yeah.
And that instrument is also of importance to us, because we would like to roll it out to the other vulnerable countries to help them in tracking how they are doing as well.
You met our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. So what was your message to her, or what message you got from her?
Yes. Well, definitely there is a commitment by Bangladesh to aspire to meet the SDG goals. And that process of meeting the goals as well as moving out of the LDC category, of course, is part of the vision 2021 by the government. The first step, the political commitment is very important, because then once you have the political commitment, it will be followed by implementation.
Yeah. So you are hopeful about that?
Yes, I'm very hopeful, and just also judging by its excellent record with the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals.
Thank you, Madam Fikita,
Thank
for
you.
your valuable time with
Thank
us.
you.
দর্শক, শেষ করছি, আর দেখা হবে পরবর্তী পর্বে নতুন কোনো অতিথির সঙ্গে নতুন বিষয়ে কথা বলবো আমরা। সে পর্যন্ত ভালো থাকবেন সবাই, থাকবেন যমুনা টেলিভিশনের সঙ্গে।